Todd Jackson moved to Las Vegas in 2003 as a way to celebrate, but most of all to abandon, a till then promising academic career. Already self-identifying as a poet and with little to show for it, he underwent 2 undergrad years at Columbia University, earned a BA from Clarion University of Pennsylvania, and his MA from the Johns Hopkins University. Todd taught at Goucher College and at the Johns Hopkins Center for Talented Youth in Los Angeles during summers. Through the 90s in Baltimore, he wrote no poetry, though he did experience a spiritual insight into how the ancient view of life, peopled by ourselves, and by various polytheistic deities who seem to respond to familiar names, actually makes sense. Las Vegas seemed the obvious place to set poems where the Olympian gods move through our human world, primarily because of the light, the colors, the mountains, the heat, but also because of the insane earthly vitality of this place that was the fastest growing city in the world. Todd has collected these poems in To the Gods and Goddesses, Poems, Volume 1 of an ongoing series. Todd is also writing toward another collection, tentatively titled The Hymns to Us. He's been published since 2019 in Snakeskin Poetry Ezine, The Road Not Taken, a journal for formal verse, ActiveMuse, Gods and Radicals, and other journals. In recent years, he has been focused on making poem videos for his channel, Todd Jackson Poetry, on YouTube. Please welcome Todd Jackson.
Thank you, Sandra. Let me start the reading. And before I do that, I realize that writing poems about the gods, the goddesses, and the gods usually requires a little more explanation and discussion, but we're going to jump right into it. Such things typically begin with an invocation to the muses, and so too will this one. Musae, that with each line of these words, crushed rock dust is cracked and planed down hard upon the consonants, whereas the finest dust, the lighter than air, it flows throughout the vowels. It swirls a slow smoke loop or two inside the hollow of an O or an A, and then released and away. The muses thus invoked, most things, and certainly in the Greek system, begins with the goddess Hestia, the goddess of the hearth. Protection, Hestia. 4 snug studio walls. They absorb the single candle heat, and I, cupped within. I feel the walls glowing through the dark. I hear, muffled, the hail and the rain that do not touch me. This, it will suffice. Here, the goddess, protection, Hestia. Hestia having begun, I move on to Apollo. He receives more poems than any other deity in this book. And I picked this poem because it best exemplifies what Las Vegas, and in particular this desert, brings to this volume and these poems. The title of this poem is, this short poem is, Our Sun Too is the Iron Sun. Our sun, too, is the iron sun. Etna here flares down. Apollo's the razor inside the sun that cuts. This sun promises time is short. Before this sun, you will know yourself. Although I must say this has been a pretty mild summer, and describes the summer heat, its piercing quality, which is quite unique. Move on to the poems in this volume come in 3 flavors generally. One of those is almost what you would expect of such a thing, an interpretation of myth in modern poetry. And one of the favorites of these is Hira singly, which has overtones with certain powerful streams within feminist thought. Hira singly. It is proposed that once were only little tribes of us, and scattered and hunted down by monsters, and the gods appeared to peek through a single face, and God was Hira. Later poets held those days, real or misremembered, against you, upright on their stones in hot slander. But I know you are merciful, having let that many die old in bed. That many, and not one more. Your mercy had been tempted bad before. Hear us, the pride to repay a blow with two. And should it come down to monsters, then monsters it shall be. Second portion. Was the bride implied within you, even then? And from whence the groom? Hera, bride and queen, when such were but a dream, while you waited, while Zeus, yet half titanic, outscrewed the whole tight cosmos into many. Teach me the grace to hold a lonely office, the patience to build this seat, though I build for others I cannot know. Teach me how to dine alone in cool elegance. Lady, narrow the scope of my concern to this cup, this fork, these candles, so that when the people return, they will find the banquet well appointed, though I be long gone into the fine wind, and into winds yet finer, while, bewitched by you, all the little curses burst in a hail of flower petals. They fall about your feet and sing your praises. One aspect of this poem that is worth touching upon for a moment, these are poems written not just in isolation, but for a community of other worshipers of the gods. So these have been knocking around for sometimes more than 20 years in various places, like Witch Vox poetry section and on and so forth. It's part of a growing pagan community. That's one type of poem. I'll read another one for Zeus, since he had gave him a rough time in this poem. This will be hymn to noetic Zeus. And rather than referring to myth, this refers more to Hellenic philosophy. Zeus, verb, in whom each thought that's thought assumes existence, weightless though weighted, and leaving track, that my one quick inward witness, just as quick forgot, is citizen itself to the cosmos, itself phenomenon, that it is dignified like the stone, like the thunderbolt. And then there are those, the type of poem in this that is for magical purpose. This poem, Hymn to Heracles Ouranios, refers to Heracles after he has been made into the constellation. That deity, that phase of Heracles received no actual worship in antiquity. And I decided that he deserved some. And plus, I had a little spiritual showdown with somebody on various subtle realms. And so this is an invocation. Heracles, twinkling in the starry night, return, remind me again that once you slept upon this earth, that you felt ache, that you bled, knew victory and hunger, and finally knew flames. Come down from red Rasalgeti, the Alpha Hercules, down from yellow-white Irina, down from the double star Cornephoros. You who slew the lion and the hydra and the birds. You brought up the many-headed dog from Hades' door, and I've a many-headed dog to drag back down. Heracles, you became stars within the starry night. What then shall I become? Smile upon me as I take up my labors. Send good word that it is not too late to have been a son of Zeus. For you brought up the many-headed dog from Hades' door, and I've a many-headed dog to drag back down. Then there are those, I'd say a third type, there might be more, but these are, I'm speaking loosely here, that are very rococo. I mean, and what I mean by that is there aren't exactly winged, chubby cherubs flying in the corners, but there might as well be. This is a villanelle. Odysseus is afterwards. I've got a lot of villanelles here, but no, this one. Darling Circe, leading me to sin. As I rest my head between your thighs, whisper me what beast I would have been. Ichor pulses cool beneath your skin. By this deathless blood you mesmerize, darling Circe, leading me to sin. Turning sailors into other kin, some to ursinate, some leonize. Whisper me what beast I would have been. Kiss you up and down your 8'10". Let's again before this morning dries, darling Circe, leading me to sin. Would my sweat beat up a dorsal fin? Does my tongue inspire butterflies? Whisper me what beast I would have been. Now again to taste the light within. Stir your repertoire of little cries. Darling Circe, leading me to sin. Whisper me what beast I would have been. Is that? With a little caveat there, read by the most famously unreliable narrator in Western literature. So, these are not all poems. As you mentioned, I have another volume coming up, which is the hymns to us. They're more of a social and political bent, and I've got quite a number of these. This one is, the title is the first line. It's another villanelle. My country makes a rotten god, and so does yours. 20 fingers dug into each other's throat. Survivors whittled down to 10 insectivores. It fed us anger so we'd stomp on someone's shores. Brings home back my bones, but sends my soul no boat. My country makes a rotten god, and so does yours. With knives we cut out into each new apple cores. There surrounded eddy shrieks a quarter note. Survivors whittled down to 9 insectivores. It fed us all it bites, and none of what restores. Ready wrap my corpse in woven sugar coat. My country makes a rotten god, and so does yours. And now there's something moving underneath the floors. Carson had been praying, now he's end of quote. Survivors whittled back to 8 insectivores. It beetles up itself out every crack it pours. Scuttling, massive, you and I, its tethered goat. My country made a rotten god, and so did yours. Survivors whittled down to 6 insectivores. Thank you. This one's a little longer. The title is Ultra Left. It too will be put into hymns to us. What comes won't be love, but a cool, sane wind. It clears the old ash. One last enclustered hate. One last sinking dustball of it soft explodes, as dustballs will. Then settles a blue air down between us. December desert dry with a hint of Klieg lights. Now we hold our face between our faces. Gone, the script flaked off the red steel plate road sign that now stands wide balled open above knee-high scraggled dandelions. We will remember it if the law once spray painted there did good, and if it didn't, won't. The stillness of the night that night will be a different kind. Once a while we shake the pains. I'll turn up my volume up to 8. What your wall's your number, mine is 8. Let's all these walls blur tune forks. Wave wrap the planet round and back and round, and all the people all at once behold ourself. Only now they gleam, as from out a hasty Rostrel grave dug up. Rise in dance, ultra-left, the endless, endless star field of you, once all ordered, all plucked down and buried, so that one red star could ascend the denuded night. Only tonight is night berobed in the velvet splendor of the people. In blows the no state, cool sane wind through an autumn screen, and indoors, I and every one of us is seated senator. When I am alone inside, we persist, potential all around. Ever a low buzz sieves through transubstantial walls. Now back down, back in, to the snug cubbyhole of one body, one me. Back into just my own music, softly, 7, 6, 5, till whispers, 4, whispers into sleep. Let's go to Aphrodite. Just a second here. Aphrodite off Flamingo Road, page 23. Flamingo Road, as well, this is where I was living at the time. My poems to Aphrodite tend to be blow-by-blow descriptions of exactly what was going on. So this is just a straight-up ritual, described point by point. 3/4 of the glass vial from the Hindu smoke shop. Good tight string work sounding in the air. Of the vial, black orchid, I put flame to the oil, then shut the windows. The ceiling fan blades whip round. The blades carve a circle in the popcorn ceiling. Aphrodite has scented the oil. She smiles a rainbow underside the ceiling, an arc, as bow shock off the arc the blades have dug. The rainbow shows 2 quick colors, and the first is something in the violets, inside which red swells embryonic. Then just a quick swoop of the red, a skimming along the inside arc of violets, and inside that to yellow, till all surrender to the great broad of green that at last dissolves into the sizzling white sunlight blast through the sluice of window blinds. Here, along this little patch of ceiling, she smiles. Now is tomorrow, the cinnamon stick smeared with the sweet oil, tall among the abundant leaf. Aphrodite's the power that binds the leaf. It is put to flame. It is passed between worlds. She has scented the potpourri. Her soft palms burst into flowers. I will draw open the window blinds and open the windows. This is something, every now and then I write something that is something we do very often that I claim is a ritual. Dawn devotion, Apollo. Apollo, the refining seam inside the common. Morning's triple blade impressed. My lip, my cheek, my throat. Straight mini snowplow lanes in white lather. A new menthol underscent unspools into the frankincensed rooms. My face, my scalp, splash, 2 hands bold with cold shower water, the beating of the cold shower water. Splash, slick the blue tiles, the beating of the cold shower water. White lather encinamoned with hair clips whirling down the pipe into the city. I am clean and ready for the city. Thank you.